Today, I'm going to be making candy-covered caramel bars. This is from the fall 2017 edition of the Pioneer Woman magazine. And what they did was they have a section in here. It says, it's candy season. Use your leftover Halloween loot to make some easy desserts. And so that's exactly what you're doing in the recipes. You're going to use leftover Halloween candy and you're going to make some things. And I thought these bars looked delicious because I have a lot of candy on hand as usual. So first thing you want to do, you want to preheat your oven to 350 degrees, and you want to, they're using foil and then they're spraying the foil into a 9 by 13 inch pan. I always use parchment paper because you don't have to spray it and it's easy, comes out easy, nothing sticks. Whereas foil with this recipe, it just seems like some things would stick. So I use parchment paper. You're also going to need 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour. You need 1.5 cups of quick cook oats. I'm using just Quaker quick cook oats. You need 1 cup of packed brown sugar. You need 1 teaspoon of baking powder and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. You need 1 3/4 sticks of cold butter. You need to cut it into cubes like Kevin did here. And then you need 2 cans. These are 13.5 ounce cans of dulce de leches. And so I have my 2 cans here. We're not going to be using those right now at all, so I'm going to move those to the side. You also need some candy. So we happen to have this great big tub of M&Ms, so we're going to use some of those just to add some color to our bars. I have all kinds of chocolate here. I have a Reese's cup, I have a Heath bar, I have a Cadbury Dairy Milk Fruit and Nut bar, I have a Snickers, I have a Double Decker Cadbury, and then I also have a Nestle Kit Kat Chunky with Biscoff. This is a white bar, but you can use any candy that you have on hand.
Even the small snack size you would hand out for trick or treat.
Yes, because you can see here what they've done is they've put these on top. So yeah, they don't have to be full-size bars, and as long as it's not candy, you want to use candy bars. You want to use chocolate. So Kevin and I have switched places, and Kevin is going to do this part. I could do it, but I would prefer Kevin do it. He's really good with his hands. And so what you're going to do is take all of those dry ingredients that I just showed you, and you're going to mix them together, and then he's going to be adding the butter. So it says mix together the flour, oats, brown sugar, baking powder, and salt in a bowl. Cut in the butter with a pastry cutter until the mixture resembles coarse crumbs.
Here's my pastry cutter.
Yeah, we don't have a pastry cutter.
You can use a food processor if you want.
Yes, but Kevin has made lots and lots of pastry. That's why I'm having Kevin do this. He's made lots of pastries and things like that, and so he is really good with his hands. And so he will work this until all of this butter is mixed in. Into the prepared pan and pat to pack it slightly. And if you're using chip clips like we are, you will definitely want to remove your chip clips before you put it in the oven.
Yeah, and there are still some little sections of butter that I didn't smush completely, but it's okay. It works.
It says bake until the cookie base is light golden brown on top, watching to make sure it doesn't burn. 30 to 35 minutes. So I will set our timer. I'm gonna go for 32. We'll go for 32 minutes. I try to usually go in the middle. But then 32 minutes, and I'll show you what it looks like when it comes out. And if I have to keep it in there any longer, of course, I'll let you know. This is how it looks after 32 minutes. I didn't leave it in any longer. I think it looks perfect. It's just a little bit golden brown around the edges. It smells incredible. So now what we want to do is let this sit here for 15 minutes. So while our bars are cooling off for 15 minutes, Kevin is gonna start cutting up the candy bars. So I've opened up my cans of the Dulce de Leches, and Kevin is going to pour both of these cans in a microwave safe bowl. So it says, spoon the Dulce de Leches into a microwave safe bowl and microwave to soften slightly, about 45 seconds. This is what it looks like, and you want to put it over the top of your base, basically. So now, this is why we cut our candy bars up ahead of time. I'm going to put my candy bars on here, and then I'm going to fill in whatever gaps I have with the M&Ms. So if you want to use Reese's Pieces, you can. You can also do like different quadrants, they said. So like if you want just Reese's Pieces or Reese's Cups on a certain, like you could divide it into like 4 squares and 4 sections. And then if you want all peanut butter, or if you want all Snickers on your one side, if you want all M&Ms on one side, you could do that. So it's just, you can make this any way you want. I want to mix it up. I want different bars all through every bite. And some of these bars might be better than others for this. But it looks like the amount of bars we have filled it in really well. And any leftover space, I'm going to use the M&Ms. So you can still see there's some space. You're supposed to pat it gently just to get it to stick into the caramel, because you want it to have one layer. So now I'm going to take some of these M&Ms and like around the edges where I can see some of that caramel, I'm going to definitely use M&Ms around there. And I'll go back around and I'll push them in there. But then I'm going to put some in the middle too. And I'm not going to put too many. I don't want to junk it up too bad, but I do want it to be colorful. And of course, so like if you buy Reese's Pieces, this is going to have more of a Halloween look, because Reese's Pieces are what? Brown and yellow and orange. And so mine is just really festive. So now that's all I'm going to use. I think that's plenty. So I'm just going to take this and lightly pat it down. And now this is the hard part, because you have to be patient. We're going to put this in the refrigerator for 2 to 3 hours. So this has been in the refrigerator for several hours. And I have a cutting board here ready. So this is the part that I was talking about that scares me with using foil. I would hate to use foil and then it gets stuck, and I don't know if it would or not, but that would just be my fear. So I'm going to cut these up. It says cut them into small bars because they're rich. I'm going to cut them up into the size I always would for brownies or honestly cake or anything else. Says remove from the pan, place on a cutting board, and use a long serrated knife to cut them into 24 small squares. I don't know how many I got. I did not get 24. It says they're rich. Serve cold or at room temperature. So ours are going to be cold because they're straight out of the refrigerator. And if they're not firm enough for you, you can always put them back in the refrigerator and let them firm up more. We're using a fork just because it's easier for the video, but I could pick this up with my fingers if I wanted to because it is a bar.
I got a Heath bar.
I got a Heath bar too.
Yeah, your bite's going to depend on what candy bar you get, really.
Yes, it really is.
Tell you what, you can't just like cut. That base is very firm.
I have it all over my face.
That base is crispy.
Even though it has all that chocolate, and honestly, I'm tasting a lot of the chocolate from the candy bars, I also still taste the oatmeal. I do get that oatmeal base.
I think I would bake that base just a little bit less. To make it a little softer. I don't know if baking it less would make a difference, but it's very, very, very crunchy.
Or do you think it's because we just took them out of the refrigerator?
No, I don't think those would ever soften.
So you don't think having them at room temperature would help? It is incredibly rich, very decadent. And let me tell you something else about that dulce de leches in the can. You get it in the same place, or we did at Kroger, that you get the sweetened condensed milk. From now on, I'm going to try to remember to buy that when I have a recipe that says it needs caramel, because it's delicious. I tried some of it. I got some of it out of the can, and after Kevin had scooped it into the bowl, and it's absolutely terrific. It's
very
delicious.
Rich.
It is sweet. It's thick. So if you do want it to be easily spread, then you'll want to put it in the microwave. But I think it's delicious.
It is good. It'll never firm up. Like it'll never get like if you wanted some chewy caramely topping or whatever, it'll never be that. It's always going to be a softer caramel. But yeah, I think it's really, really good. I like it. The only, like I said, my only really complaint is that the base is a little hard, but saying that, I've got an edge piece and it's softer.
I love the flavors. I do.
So much chewy around the edges.
I just got Reese's Cup. The Reese's Cup is awesome. You could do, like, if you have a favorite candy bar, you could just use all of that one candy bar on top.
Oh, yeah.
Like I said, you could divide it out.
Butterfinger. I mean, you could buy anything, literally.
This is more a type of thing that you really, though, even though I'm holding it, you're going to want to eat it on a plate. You're not going to want to serve these at a party unless you have plates for them to hold. And then, hopefully, everyone is responsible enough, which most people aren't. Usually, there's always one at every party that doesn't care about your stuff. But you would hope that everybody would be responsible enough to hold that plate up to their mouth, because if some of that falls off on your carpet with the caramel, it's going to be a mess. So I think this would make a better dessert for like just you to make for yourselves.
You can do a small family gathering.
Or if you're having a small family gathering and you want them to get a piece and take it and sit down and eat it. That's what I'm trying to explain. I don't think it's a good stand-up food.
Yeah.
I think it's a better sit-down food.
Or sitting on the couch or something.
Yeah, it's a better sit-down food. I wouldn't have people, like, if they're milling around, this is not the kind of thing you want to make.
No, probably not.
But I think it's a very pretty. It was easy to make. So you're saying, so instead of going for like 32 minutes in the oven, you think if I had gone more like 30 at the very low end, it would have been softer?
Maybe. I don't know. It just needs something a little softer on the bottom. And like I said, the first couple of pieces I got were really, really crunchy. The ones I've gotten recently, I don't know if they're in the middle or on the edge. I can't tell, but they're softer.
So you think the middle is going to be, that makes sense, that the middle would be softer. Yeah. But I do think this is a delicious dessert, and I do think it's a good way. We've never had a problem using up Halloween candy. So they're saying use up your Halloween candy.
Get out handfuls.
Well, but I mean, even when the kids would bring it home, we would eat it. That's what I'm saying. There was never a problem with leftovers because we ate everything, you know. So, but for those of you who find yourself with leftover candy bars, if you want to use it for this, I think these are good bars.
Yeah, I think they're really good.
I also think if you didn't want to make the base she used, you could do this with shortbread. You could do a shortbread base with the same caramel, same whatever candy bars you want, and I think this would be great with a shortbread base too. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching.